What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source for combat sports. I'm your host, Al the Postmaster Morrow, and today I have a gear review on the Superior Boxing Japanese training gloves. Alright folks, as always, I'm incredibly excited to bring you yet another gear review, as today we have the Superior Boxing training gloves. And these are the Japanese style training gloves made by Superior Boxing, by the way. And I've been aware of the company for about 3 years, actually. I just reviewed a pair of their mitts that I've had for a while, and then actually Superior Boxing reached out to me about a month and a half ago, basically asking if I would be interested to review their gloves. And they did send these to me, so disclaimer now, these were sent to me. I paid for the shipping, but they were sent to me for an honest review. I did not receive any payment for this review, nor have I ever received any payment for a review. And I also tell people that, listen, I will tell you if the glove sucks right on open camera, and it will be released to the whole world, and I'll never get rid of the video, basically. And they're always on board for it because people want their stuff to be labeled as a good product, which is always awesome. So when it comes to the Superior Boxing, they reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested. And I've seen these gloves reviewed by my friends and fellow reviewers, Simon from Fit to Box and Carlo from C Squared, and they had high praises for these. But at the end of the day, their big complaint was that it's basically just a winning replica, and there's a lot of winning replicas out there. But the one thing I like that Carlo said was it was, for $60, one of the best pairs of gloves you could ever get. Which I was sitting there thinking, man, that's a really bold claim, because there's a lot of other gloves out there for $60 that are amazing, and then there's other winning replicas that are like $100. No way for $60 can a winning replica be successful. And that's what was going through my mind until I tried these, and I kind of inclined to believe and agree with Carlo, because I have this might be one of the easiest reviews I've ever had, because of how well that these perform and how well they perform in general. And I love how these gloves have acted so far. So I have another pair of gloves by Superior Boxing that are, in my opinion, just as good, that I'll also do a review of pretty soon here. But this is their stock Velcro version. They have them in lace up too. I'll go into that in a second. Of their Japanese winning style training glove, and it obviously looks identical to winning, but we'll get into that in a second. Basically, Superior Boxing started, and their whole motto was they wanted to make really good gear that's available and accessible to everybody. You can have professional level stuff for $60 or for a cheaper amount, instead of spending so much for Japanese craftsmanship like winning and stuff. So most of their stuff is patterned right after winning. And in fact, the mitts that I just reviewed are just like the winning mitts, and I've never used the other winning mitts because they're so expensive. But now I have my favorite pair of air mitts is by Superior Boxing. I only paid $40 or $50 for those things, and they outperform a lot of other mitts that I've used that are air mitts, like my Super Rare mitts, and then my Everlast air mitts, my Doom mitts. They rival the Doom mitts really well. I do like the Doom mitts, but they've lasted longer than the Doom mitts, and have lasted longer than a lot of other air mitts that I've used in the past. Even my Ringside big air mitts, that are trusted by coaches around the world. I love the Superior Boxing even more than that. So when I got these, I was excited, and I looked at the reviews, I read reviews, and so many different comments were just positive about this glove, because it's basically a winning glove for $60, which, once again, I know what you're thinking. How can a winning glove go for $60? Actually, 45 pounds, British pounds is what it goes for, which I believe translates to 52 something in American, but in US. But I think with taxes and then shipping and everything, it comes to about $60 to $70, which, to compare it to other gloves out there, like the Ringside Apex, Title Classic Elastic gloves, Engage Beginner Series, all those different things that people use so much, I might start telling people to think differently and go for this now, not to give that away too soon. But going into the exact model I have them in white. You can get them in all the basic winning colors as well. I have them in white, but you can get them in red, black, and blue. I believe they have some other colors out there like oxblood red and stuff like that, which is cool. And then on top of it, you can also get them in lace-up and Velcro. I got them in Velcro. I choose Velcro for MMA for the convenience because it's easy for me to just rip it on and off if I need to change gloves often. So that's something that I really like about Velcro. But the lace-ups I've seen are just the same thing. It just has the laces here, and it's pretty good. You can also get them in 12, 14, 16 ounces. I believe I saw 18, but this is a 16-ounce glove. And so this is to mimic the winning MS600, which is the glove that I've actually reviewed on the channel that I still use. Going into the look of the glove, it's one of the most basic designs on the planet, much like winning. That's the other cool thing about it. I love that they keep it simple, too. I like to say keep it simple, stupid, right? And basically, if you have the most basic look on the planet, I think it's easier to clean. And on top of it, you put your brand on it, and you're ready to go. And that's what you got right here. You have a completely white glove, but all you have here is Superior Boxing right there. Okay, so you got Superior Boxing logo. I like that logo with a little swoosh going down that way. And it's in nice, bold lettering. And the other thing I love about it is that it's sublimated right into the leather. So it hasn't chipped or frayed away, just like their mitts haven't. We go over to the thumb, and you can see that's all white. The fingertips are all white. Open this up, it's all white. The stitching is also all white, as you can see here going down that way. When we come to the wrist strap, it's all white. The only parts of the glove that are not white are actually the interior lining and the Velcro, which is usual. You can also see down here you have your 16-ounce tag, which you'll have the tag for your other sizes like 12, 14, 16, 10, 18, 75, it'll be on there. That's the tag, okay? But going into the design of the glove, I'm going to probably put a picture across the screen. It is virtually identical to the winning MS600, the Velcro version. And in everything, whether it be the contour of the elastic strap, or whether it be the contour and the shape of the glove, the flatness of the glove, everything like that of the glove is replicated right after winning. Well, let's talk about it and break it down anyways. We have an entirely very nice top grain leather that is over the padding, and it's actually a decent thickness, right? Your average size thickness, I'd say, of hide over here, and it's super soft. Nice supple leather, which I love about that. I mean, the leather is super nice, and it smells, even for a $60 pair of gloves, it smells like a really nice quality new shoe, which I love about that. It smells very similar to your top boxer style of leather. A lot of Pakistan gloves kind of smell like that. It's like that Napa leather scent to it. You know, Napa leather is what they use in cars and stuff, and that's what this kind of smells and feels like. It feels like a nice bike seat too. So I really like how that feels. And then when we go to the interior padding, it is a multi-layered blend like you would have with winning. So you have multi-layered foam, and they say that it has a lot of open cell multi-layered foams that has the cradle system similar to winning, but not quite. I don't think they have the same exact cradle system on the inside, the like just cushions the knuckle with a small little spot there in the hand compartment. I think the layered foam is about, if I had to guess, I'd say about 3.5 to, not 3.5, 3, 4, or 5 layer foam. It looks more like a 5-layer foam to me. And if I were to guess, there's a little bit of latex in there to give you a nice little pop, and the rest of it is just your classic high density foam that you get with a lot of Japanese gloves. What does it is that there is a slight little curve over that makes it that pillow type of shape. It's a little rounded towards the top. It's not too flat. It's a little flat here, but once it comes here, tiny little roll right over the top. It's not as pronounced as, say, like a Grant is, where you have the huge rounded dome to keep your knuckles separate. But the way the padding is shaped is it gets over your knuckle, and it provides, because of the material itself, provides really nice protection. But like I said, I feel latex in there a little bit, so it definitely has a little bit of a spring to it. And it's also a very soft padding, very pillow style glove. And you can see here, kind of like winning, it's very hard to fold that in and it bounces right back. Okay, so it's definitely keeping your hand nice and cushioned just from that little spot right there. You can also see, like most, they just kind of call it the Japanese style thumb now. It's separate, so your thumb has a completely different free floating feel, and it feels the same on the thumb as it does on the knuckles and the back of the hand as well. When we come down to the wrist strap, you can see that it's different from a lot of people, because usually people will have a piping to their wrist strap, and Winning doesn't do that, nor does the new Hayabusa Pro Boxing Series, because they try to copy Winning a lot. And honestly, here's the funny part. I choose these over the Hayabusa Pro Series. I was really disappointed with the Pro Series. But when we open this, it's super strong, short Velcro strap that is buckled right on the inside here. And usually I don't like when it's attached like this. I like it when it's on the outside and you can really strap it. But in this case, Superior Boxing made it very good in that this, opens and folds very easily. And that's always good here, okay? I don't know if you all heard my cat meowing at me. I got the door closed and scratched at the door. But when we come to the Velcro, it's a nice patch. It's about 2 inches thick, I'd say, of Velcro. And then the strap is a little bit smaller than the actual strap line itself, but it still works. And then on the back, you can feel nice, denser foam right on the back of the wrist here. It feels like an EVA type foam. It's not too pronounced, and it's a little softer right at the bottom of the wrist cuff here, right there, and the top of the wrist cuff here. Turning the glove around though, when we talk about the lining here at the bottom of the palm all the way throughout the top of the palm and the wrist, it is so soft. It's a nice soft plush, nice soft plush, your insulations type foam that's throughout the palm and the wrist here, traveling your forearm as well. So that's really nice if you're practicing drills. Your grip bar right here is also very soft. It feels like the same foam that they use on the back of the hand as well, and it's super soft there. And you have a really nice open thumb attachment as well, and it's able to move just enough to where you're comfortable with your thumb moving on the inside. The interior lining is a really nice nylon lining, and it's stretched just as tight as Winning, and it's softer than Winning too. I really like how soft this glove is on the inside. It's so comfortable. Not only is it a pillow glove, but it fits in and it feels like a pillow on the back of my hand. When I put this in the first time, I was like, oh my God, that was so comfortable. I love when gloves have a good interior lining. That could make or break it for me. And on top of it, in the finger compartment here, I can move my hand very freely, and I can really close my fist easy, and my fingers can rest very nicely on the inside with no bunching of the material because of how nice and tight that the interior lining is stretched. The other thing that's nice is the Velcro. Like I said, it's a short strap, but it doesn't really take a lot to keep this nice and tight on my hand. As you can see, it's kind of separate. This part stays here, and this part really locks onto my arm. I can push it back pretty good and it'll still stabilize me. Is the wrist support as good as a Winning Velcro? I don't know, because I've never used a Winning Velcro. I've only used lace-ups by Winning, but the wrist support on these gloves is actually really, really good. I think maybe that's one part it could improve on, but I think what saves it is all the padding on the back and how tight that it hugs to your arm. When you punch, it just kind of lands flush right in the good spot, and you can see it also kind of pre-curves my hand into a natural punch position as well, which is nice about this glove. So I really, really like how this feels. But let's go ahead and go into the bag work, and so you can see these gloves in action. All right, so hitting the bag with these gloves is awesome. Not only are they a pillow style glove that offer wrist and knuckle support, and I can really lay my punches into it, I like how the foam moves out of the way enough for me, so it kind of has a nice puncher's type feel. It doesn't recoil quite like a puncher's, but it feels like I'm making solid impact every time, and that's what I love about these gloves. Overall, they're nice and light, nice forward punching gloves. They feel really close to like top boxers and Winnings in general, especially for the price, which is absolutely incredible. Awesome gloves for the bags. So you can see right off the bat that if you've ever seen a pair of Winnings, these look identical between the Velcro strap, between everything but the logo. I've actually had one or two of my teammates come in and say, aren't those really expensive ones? And I say, no, actually they're not. They're just a replica, but they feel absolutely amazing. They feel very similar to them, and they look awesome as well. All right, folks, so my final verdict on the Superior Boxing Japanese style training gloves is I have to agree with C Squared. They are one of the best gloves that I've used for $60 and below. And that is a big statement because for years I've said the Ringside Apex is my go-to. Now I have a new one. And honestly, here's the thing. I've just made this part of my regular circle because I can't believe how good these perform. And then the other pairs of gloves by Superior Boxing, which I'll review soon, also are one of my favorite gloves to use as of recent. And I really love how they perform. Now, the first thing people are going to say is, Al, they can't be as good as winning. Well, you know, they don't do a bad job. And I'll even go as far to say I like these a little bit more than I do my Top Boxers, the Win 1 series. Because the Top Boxers, for me, sometimes could be inconsistent. And they change the padding and they change like the thickness. And I didn't like it. Whereas this feels right. And, you know, and I like the lining more than Top Boxer as well. And I like how the leather fits more than Top Boxer, and it's stretched perfectly. It's almost like they had someone that worked for Winning, came over to Superior Boxing and made this for them. Now, obviously, the materials are different. I obviously say that the leather is a little bit more high quality in Winning, and obviously those gloves I've had for 5 years and they're still going. And then the padding on the inside is definitely a different structure and it's probably more expensive sponge foam than they used on the inside of this. The lining is probably made of something different. Yes, of course, the Winning MS600 is one of the best gloves on the market. But here's the thing, right? When you have someone that doesn't know good equipment, especially from the beginner to intermediate level, and you want to tell them to invest in you know, kind of have something that's not necessarily a budget pair of gloves, I would start directing them towards these. I think that the thumb fits in a really comfortable and natural way, which helps everything about the glove, right? And it helps my thumb come in a nice position. On top of it, my knuckles feel nice and padded because of all that multi-layered foam. And even for me as a puncher, I love these because I can definitely feel that there is a tiny layer of latex or sandwich foam that is bouncing my knuckles right back. So when I punch bags, I feel just infinite energy when I punch these things. I absolutely love how it just rolls my shoulders off. I can really get my hits off. On top of it, they're so safe to spar with too. They have that same Winning style pillow feel, which is incredible to have with your gloves. You know, and it's very safe, not just for you, but your sparring partners as well. The interior lining for me is really one of the things that I love most out of it all. Just to kind of tell you how it goes. My hand gets into this thing, and it's very easy to dry out. It's moisture wicking, which I love. The Velcro strap is very good. And on the inside, it is just nice and plush, and I absolutely love how it feels. I also love that it's stretched tightly here, so when I put my hand in, there's no nonsense of me trying to wiggle my fingers around and make sure it's in a good position. I love how the thumb is contoured off to the side, and I still can open my hand. It's flexible for me to open my hand, catch, and especially for guys that are doing MMA or Muay Thai, you can really grip nice the back of their arms, necks, and everything like that, and it feels really good. I think the one thing maybe I would change as far as this goes is I sometimes have to do this and like pull this over and then loop it down like that, and then but it still stays on my hand really good. It's very difficult to get off my hand without hand wraps. I'm pulling as hard as I can to get that off. So obviously put hand wraps on and that won't happen, but maybe what I would do is just add like another cost to it, is just put a little elastic band right here across, because, you know, usually that happens. That way it stays nice and closed when you go to put it on. I don't think Winning does that, but I think that's just like a little bonus that I would throw into the glove. The only other concern I could see is, you know, maybe the stitching isn't quite as good as Winning, and I definitely don't ever like those little split seams that you can see down the middle like that, you know, where I can kind of see where they meet and end. I worry that maybe in time that these would bust and pop open, which I don't think they will, but I can definitely see that happening. Also, I love how easy these are to clean. I've only used leather cleaner on these once, and they still look good. I haven't even had to treat them yet. Granted, they're only a month and a half old, but they're very easy to clean. Even as a white pair of gloves, you can see that it does not attract and keep dirt as much as other brands would. I think it's better than cheaper alternatives like IMF Tech foam, which as much as I love IMF Tech for beginners and stuff, I'd still trust these for wrist support, for punching, for knuckle support, for sparring, compared to a lot of those other gloves, because IMF Tech, when you first get it, it's very stiff. And on top of it, once it bubbles and breaks apart, it's done. This, your multi-layered foam style, you get a lot more longevity and use out of it. So I definitely think it has a leg up over things like the Ringside Apex, which is something I thought I'd never say, and like your Tidal Classic Elastic, the Engage Beginner Series. All of those things, guys, have your different IMF Tech foams, which will break apart much easier than your multi-layered foams. On top of it, those are all vinyl for the most part, compared to this being a really nice sturdy leather, which is always good to have in my book. Sometimes that means you got to clean it a little bit more, condition the leather every now and again, but it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing to do. It's good to have that style every now and again, okay? So if someone were to ask me what my final rating were on these gloves, I'd look at you and I'd say 10 out of 10 for the price point. Now, if they were selling these for about $110, I honestly wouldn't be shocked, because for me, like I said, they're right up there with Top Boxer. I like these a little bit more than the Win Ones. And the Win Ones I like a little bit more than Winning in some ways, but obviously these gloves are modeled right after Winning, and for the price point, you can't go wrong with these. That's the thing about it. The wrist support is maybe the one part that might fall short on some people. I know it hasn't for me at all, and I've even let a couple of my beginners use these just to see how they did, and they were the ones that complained about their wrists and their knuckles hurting, and they're like, man, I really like these. I want to get a pair, stuff like that. And that's what I do at the gym with all these guys. And so they have a good rapport for guys that are beginner, intermediate levels, and I'd even give them the pros. I actually want to get a pair from one of my teammates, and his gloves are kind of falling apart. And I want to say, try these because you like pillow style gloves. I think you're really going to like these. So I give them a 10 out of 10 because the lining is perfect for me. They're easy to clean. They're durable. They look basic, which is good. And on top of it, they replicate Winning to a T. Now, that's the one thing is I know the market is kind of oversaturated with a lot of Winning replicas and knockoffs. But for me, I think this is one of the best Winning replicas that you can get out there. And Superior Boxing also has a phenomenal customer service line. And like I said, although these gloves were sent to me, this is my honest review. Within the first couple of days of me using them, I messaged them and said, I cannot believe that you guys pulled this off. For the price point that you get, $60, and even if you go to MSM Fight Shop where they sell them, they're about $80 to $90 because they're you're going through a retailer that's selling them for you, and they need to make profit as well. But overall, if you get them from the website, I think they're 45 British pounds, which goes to about $52. That is incredible, guys. That is a steal for gloves that are these good. So I would definitely go online, check out Superior Boxing, and look into these. I also have them in lace up in a couple different sizes. And they have a couple different things. Like they have a Muay Thai pair of gloves. And then they also have a Grant style pair of gloves. And they have one that's called the Super Safety, which is the other ones that I have as well. And I can't wait to review those because those, for me, are just as good as these. But with that said, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe as it goes a long way to help the channel. Thank you so much for watching this video, as I really appreciate it, and I hope that you'll come to appreciate these gloves as much as I have. I always love when I stumble upon gold. There are some gloves out there that just kind of copy things, and they do it, and it's like, well, yeah, I would just get the original. In this case, for the price point, I'd give them to my beginners. I want to get a couple pairs for my nonprofit gym that I have and let my kids use them, because I definitely think that these gloves will probably be my go-to for that price point right now. They are an absolutely amazing pair of gloves, and it really proves that you don't need to break your bank to have a good piece of equipment, folks. Like, comment, and subscribe. Above all, comment. Let me know what you thought about this review, and let me know if you have any questions that I might have missed within this video. And if you have anything to add, please comment below as well. Also, message me on all my pages: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, whatever it is it might be. I try and get back as fast as I can now that my Instagram spam fix is off. I guess I just had a spam filter on, and I didn't think half of them were spam. But please message me on the platforms. I'll be happy to get back to you and talk to you about stuff. Like I said, I will post a link in the description below where you can go ahead and look at these, and I hope you like them just as much as I have. Thanks to Superior Boxing for sending me these. Guys, I really appreciate it. I think you guys did a phenomenal job with these gloves, as I've told you already, and I definitely think it's worth the money. So at the end of the day, folks, thank you for choosing your source for combat sports. I've been your host, Al the Postmaster Morrow, here at The Combat Corporation. As always, I'll see you on the next episode. Have a good one, everybody.